This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Now's your chance to relax and rejuvenate like never before with a customizable Bullfrog Spa. This week at your local Bullfrog Spa's factory store's Peaceful Life sale, you'll save up to $2,000 off MSRP. Plus, get a free premium water care upgrade. Experience personalized therapy and stress relief with Bullfrog Spa's exclusive patented jetpack therapy system and make your relaxation goal a reality. Hurry in. The Peaceful Life sale ends October 20th at your nearby Bullfrog Spa's factory store.
Bullfrog Spas. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home.
My name is Brian King, and I'm running to be your governor because Utah is headed in the wrong direction, and we can do so much better. If you're frustrated by politics today, if you feel like politicians aren't listening to you, if you're looking for something different, for a leader who prioritizes common sense and bipartisanship, you have a place with us in this campaign. Join us and vote for Brian King for governor by November 5th. For the better.
Paid for by Brian for Utah.
Attention Utah professionals. Join us at the Utah Business Forward event on November 20th, 2024 at the Grand America Hotel. Learn from successful Utah leaders, including Kurt Doman of Progressive Leasing and U of U women's basketball coach Lynn Roberts. Dive into breakout sessions on entrepreneurship, people and culture, acquisitions, AI, brand marketing, and strategic leadership. Don't miss this opportunity to connect and grow. Visit forward.utahbusiness.com to register today.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Jazz games are better together. Host an unforgettable night at Delta Center with colleagues, friends, families, whoever. Group tickets are the best way to get everyone together to cheer on the Jazz. Pick from a variety of options for seating, dining, and game day experiences. Start planning your big night at the game by calling 801-355-DUNK, emailing group sales at utahjazz.com, or simply visiting utahjazz.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Marcus Jansen.
Well, Amanda, I'm looking at Beck Street, just to where 400 West comes into play, and it looks like there's a bit of a delay through the area there. I don't know if that's construction related or not, but it's both north and southbound leading in and out of the city. I-15 remains in great shape here through the Salt Lake Valley from Point of the Mountain all the way through the downtown area. Both Davis and Utah counties in great shape as well. 215 is looking good. If you're making the trek to Park City, expect some slushy conditions towards the summit, and then as you make your way further eastbound on I-80 through that area, and maybe over to Heber as well. The leaves are falling, and so are the prices at Big O Tires. Stop in and save up to $120 on select sets of in-stock tires during our Fall into Savings sale. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Mark Christiansen in the KSL Traffic Center.
The rain should end by early afternoon today with a high of 52. Our low tonight 39. Then tomorrow the sun comes back out with a high of 60. Right now it's cloudy at 43 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
It is Friday. Excited to have the final show of the week because, it's Friday. Let's be honest. We all love Friday. And Debbie Dujanovic is off. Mari Carabello is filling in. So no solo Dave. You've had a lot of solo Dave this week.
It's been great.
Which is fine, which is great. Finally, nobody to push back against all of my bad takes. So they said, you know what, Dave, you've been left unchecked for too long. We're bringing in Mara to bring a little, sanity to the show.
That's nice. I'm excited to be here. And hey, I am going to be unpopular from the beginning by saying I love a rainy day. We don't have so many of them.
You know what?
I like
you
the
water
weather.
You
I
water people. I heard the same
weather.
thing from Speaker Schultz yesterday. I was talking about blue skies. He's like, I just love these rainy days. We need the water.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about water here a little bit later in the show because there was a symposium. I have not thought about water outside of just how amazing the ski season has been for 2 years. But yeah, for a hot minute there, all we wanted to do was talk about water in the Great Salt Lake and how it's drying up and there's arsenic. We had all of the drama, but we will talk about water here coming up in the show. But it is 9:07, and as we do every day, we start the show off with the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things that both I and Maura want you to know.
Countdown. 3.
Okay, so there's been a lot of debates. Obviously, we're less than 3 weeks away from Election Day, and there are still debates happening. Despite the fact that people have already cast ballots, we're still having debates. And there was a debate last night in Congressional District 3 between State Senator Mike Kennedy and Glenn Wright, who's the Democratic opponent. And it seemed like a fairly civil debate. And then the handshakes at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, hey, nice job. There was a little spice that came in the final handshake. And for all you sports fans out there, that's when all the disaster happens. Like, there's never a fight on the field. It's always what happens in the handshake line. And Mara, you're all for it. I don't know if I'm putting words in your mouth.
Love it. Love it. Little spice is nice. And I think we should talk about why it is.
Because
right?
sometimes we're too nice.
Sometimes we're too spit-shined and we're not telling the truth about things.
Countdown. 2.
We will also continue our election coverage at 10 o'clock. We've been focusing so much on the candidates and voting and how to vote, but there has been a little bit of a problem in southern Utah. Now, this is news to me because I've been a northerner. I've been a northerner my entire life. I just vacationed down south. But apparently this has been well known for a very long time that if you're in southern Utah and you want to mail in your ballot, there is a postmark issue because you put your ballot in the mailbox, they pick it up, they don't just process it in your city. They ship it to Las Vegas where they got to postmark it, and then they send it back to Utah.
This is such an interesting hot take because now we're hearing people in southern Utah particularly ask the question of, are we really better off? Wasn't voting better back in the day?
Launch. Countdown. 1.
The big story of the day regards Ruby Frankie. Now, if that name sounds familiar, you may know it from the news headlines or you may know it from the YouTube channel. She had started a YouTube channel with her family, really focusing on her kids and what I would consider tough parenting. And it was extremely popular. More than 2 million subscribers. I think there was 1 billion total views of her videos, and it was very, very popular. But then we learned from the children that they were being abused. I'll walk you through more of the details, but now the kids are starting to push back and ask a very important question of, should we have had a say of whether or not we were even in these YouTube videos? Like, because mom just posted them. She just recorded them. You got voluntold.
Mm-hmm.
So do we need to re-examine our relationship with social media and our children?
Yeah, this is an evolving issue. I love this topic because it is now addressing the financial engine that is social media, and also we're talking about the family unit and how that functions.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The launch.
Commence.
So the big takeaway here is Ruby Frankie's daughter doesn't want to be in the parents' vlogs, video diaries, right? They don't want to be in it. But what if it pays the bills? Because this is a worst-case scenario where the family has a popular YouTube channel. They're making a ton of money off of it. The kids are maybe not even willing participants, reluctant participants. Maybe some kids love it. But Ruby Frankie's eldest daughter, Sherry, wanted to bring this up and have us start questioning what rights the kids have.
I don't come today as the daughter of a felon, nor as a victim of an abnormally abusive mother. I come today as a victim of family vlogging. I foresee there will be legal crises, with these children realizing that vlogging has brought severe emotional distress.
A victim of family vlogging. I've never thought of it that way. And I wonder how many parents out there have thought about this very thing of, hey, I post stuff of my kids all the time on social media. Does it change now if I start making money off it?
Right. And I mean, Dave, I want to start our conversation. I think we'll deepen it to when you're talking about a financially viable, but let's just start with a more lightweight, like you have a parent who maybe it's not even their only business, but they're including their kids as part of the discussion. And again, maybe we're not talking about the extreme or, the cases where it is the main economics, but what happens when a kid just doesn't want to feel that exposed? What happens when a parent is telling the story of the trip to the dentist and the kid had a bad experience and had to come apart? And it's just that the 9-year-old is like, yeah, so I was embarrassed by that. And I don't necessarily want to be a part of that story.
And I have experienced this on a very small level because obviously in this job, talk radio, I often draw from my own personal experiences.
Right.
So I talk about my family, and I've had my kids tell me, Dad, don't tell that story. Yeah. Like, oh, come on, man, I love this story. Let me tell this story. Okay, that's fine. I wear them down because, that's what parents can do is they can wear down the kids. But I've experienced it on a certain level. And it's very difficult. This job would be very difficult to do if I could not draw from my own personal experiences.
That's right. Well, and then it brings up this topic that's so interesting to me about social media. Dave, one would also say you're a professional. You have been trained. You think about content. You're not just trying to get clicks. I'm not minimal. But what happens? So as the daughter of an oversharer, right? So my mom will tell you anything, anytime, any place. And this has
That's
been
how you were raised.
Exactly.
You just knew it. That was
right. And all the kids are like, you told the lady in the grocery store all of this, but there was no real social consequence to that, right? She was in the grocery store. So now this social media format has allowed my mom, the oversharer, she's not doing this, but what happens when you're from the kid's point of view, when your mom or dad is oversharing to thousands of people?
Yes.
And you're the subject of the overshare.
And then the thousands turn to tens of thousands,
right?
Hundreds of thousands to millions. And then there are millions of views, hundreds of millions of views. It's a level of exposure that we have not addressed. And I think Sherry Frankie, the daughter of Ruby Frankie, was speaking to Utah lawmakers and asking this very important question of what are my rights as a minor? We want to continue this conversation, and KSL TV did a great job, and I will play more from the daughter of Ruby Frankie to hear her perspective and some of her concerns about parent vlogs. Next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Current events can have a lot of moving parts. Our job is to make it easy to keep up.
You're part of a bigger world, so spend 15 or 20 minutes here and be part of it.
Join us weekday mornings between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Ballots hit voter mailboxes this week, and the stakes are high. Stay informed on Utah races for governor, U.S. Senator, and Attorney General. And, of course, the presidential election.
We have you covered.
With updates mornings and afternoons and conversation middays. Your voice, your vote 2024.
On KSL News Radio.
One of the things I love about Master Electrical is they have upfront pricing guarantee. And I think so many of us have been bitten in the past where we have somebody come out to our house, they give us a bid, and then when we actually get the bill, it's not the same thing as the bid, and that's extremely frustrating. Master Electrical for years has offered upfront pricing guarantees. Well, now they've joined forces with Mountain Home Services, and the reason this is like very good news or very exciting news for me is Mountain Home Services can take care of your HVAC needs, your plumbing. So now, because they've joined forces, electrical taken care of, HVAC, plumbing, you name it, they can take care of it, one-stop shopping, and it all comes with that upfront pricing guarantee. And now they've moved into fireplaces as well. Because they have the expertise in heating and air, it makes a lot of sense just to do fireplaces as well. So as it is rainy and cold and miserable outside, think about a fireplace. Go ahead and reach out to Mountain Home Services by going to their website, mountainhomeutah.com, or give them a call, 801-543-2222.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is Derek Overstreet of the New Millennium Group and host of Stop Working and Start Living Radio. If you're close to or in retirement and you don't have a tax plan, call us right now, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Listen, our country's been spending like never before, and the tax bill is coming soon. If you need an income tax strategy and a financial plan that will get you through the rest of your life, give my team a call, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. If you want an investment plan that allows you to keep more of your gains and pay less taxes, give us a call, 888-999-6370. My team specializes in the type of plan that will get you retired 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible. So, get a no-cost tax analysis by calling 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. My team is standing by now.
Advanced Window Products offers grabber window covers. High-end quality with the best warranty. Save 30% off when you mention KSL. 801-850-9100 or advancedwindows.com.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices. Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips? But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com, or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to new, NORDICUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New year, new you, New Nordic.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, Washington County's clerk auditor says voters can be confident if they get their ballots in the mailbox or to the post office by the posted pickup time, their ballots will be postmarked on time this fall. Second Bountiful City Police say they've caught teens on video stealing and vandalizing political signs. They say no matter how minor, that is still a crime. And third, a group of people trying to save Japantown is celebrating the news that Abravanel Hall will also be saved. They say it's part of the cultural backbone of the area. Right now, 43 degrees in Salt Lake. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
So you may remember the story of Ruby Frankie. Ruby Frankie was a mommy vlogger and had a YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. And largely what it was is she would just show her parenting style. She would record it and then she would post it online. And her niche was tough parenting, right? That we've been raising kids that have been coddled and they're soft, and what we're going to do is we're going to toughen up our kids. So a lot of this blog would be, hey, these are some of the tough parenting. There's going to be, intense exercise, and you're going to be outside, and air conditioning's for the weak kind of stuff. And then this became extremely popular. Debbie Dujanovic's off, by the way. Mara Carabello is filling in, host of KSL at Night, is with the Exoro Group. And this is something that is very common here in Utah, the family vlogger.
Yeah, we've grown a little cottage industry. I mean, Utahns are on the map for being major league content providers. And as you say, mostly around not just single individuals doing things, but family units of some kind. And the content is really derived and reliant on it being multiple members of a family.
It does. And now I'm going to use 3 examples. And these are what I would consider good examples. Okay. In fact, had we not known the backstory behind Ruby Frankie, many people thought that was a good example as well. So full disclosure, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
But I can tell you, these are public YouTube channels that are extremely popular. There are 3 that came to my mind. I know it because my kids have watched these. Shot of the Jaegers, That YouTube Family, and What's Inside. What's Inside has 7 million subscribers, more than 1 billion views. Let that sink in, folks. More than 1 billion views on YouTube.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at mainstream media of like KSL, working really hard to provide relevant content in hopes of getting tens of thousands of views. A billion views.
It's incomprehensible. The Shot of the Jaegers, 6.63 million subscribers, 5.5 billion views. Now, what is incredible about this is YouTube will allow you to monetize your channel. Now, they have some parameters. You have to have, I think, 1,000 subscribers and something like 40,000 views. I'm not totally certain on those numbers. I know it's 1,000 subscribers. And then you can apply and say, hey, I'd like to monetize this channel. So every time if you're a monetized channel and someone watches your video, if an ad plays, then you will get a cut of that view. And it's nominal. It's a penny per view, something like that. Okay. It's $10 per 1,000 views. And depending on how popular you are, how long they watch the ad, it can go higher than that. But on average, Credit Karma broke down the financial aspect of this. On average, per 1,000 views, if you have 1 million subscribers, you're going to be making $18 per 1,000 views. So if you have 1 billion views, on average, you're making $18 million.
So I want to flip that financial equation to also talk about how most people then would decide content. So you're getting $18 per 1,000 view, and as you said, part of it is how long the viewer lingers, how much they interact with it. So what all of us do who produce content is we look back at the content we produced and we say, hey, when we did this, people were more interested. And when we do that, people were less interested. So you and I are in the news, and we're trying to identify which news is more interesting and relevant. But also in the news, you ask yourself, I think this is a really important topic. Why aren't people covering it? Now let's move to the entertainment side, which is what we're talking about today, or the self-help, or the, less formal side. Dave, these same producers of content are looking back and thinking, oh, wow, when we did this, more people paid attention. So this is when I get a little confused and suspect. At the beginning, I think this all starts out very organic. Interesting person with an interesting idea and an interesting concept, and kind of just riffing it, living their own life. They don't know if we're going to like it or not.
Right.
How much later on does it become not organic, not authentic, and instead we're going to move on to, like, this is a parent-child relationship we're talking about. How much does the parent now say, well, listen, little Johnny, you have to do this because this is now what gets us looked at?
Yeah, and that's a great point, because so often you don't know what's going to pop off. You don't know what's going to go big and what's going to go viral. And Ruby Frankie and many of these other mommy vloggers or family YouTube channels, they started off just as you said. Hey, this is a fun night. This is family home evening. Look what we do. This is a thing that we've always done. And people are like, oh, watching a family play games. And then as the popularity increases, then you go bigger and better. To your point, the biggest YouTuber on the planet is Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast started off playing Call of Duty.
Right.
He was playing video games.
Yep.
And now he gives away like 100 Teslas.
Right.
He's like, let's get people's reaction as I'm handing out $10,000 as trick-or-treat candy. Right? And it just morphs into something totally different than what was originally planned.
But he's also making his own choices about his brand and who he is and what he wants to express. And he's making a ton of money doing it. What happens when you're making a ton of money, but it's about your family unit?
And that's part of the conversation that Sherry Frankie, who's 21 years old, the daughter of Ruby Frankie. And again, Ruby Frankie, the mommy vlogger, ends up posting all these videos. What we find out is she was being extremely abusive to the children, requiring them to go outside on hot asphalt without shoes. There's a long list. She was found guilty. She's gone to prison, along with kind of a co-conspirator family therapist that was involved in this as well. Well, the daughter, Sherry Frankie, went before Utah legislators and discussed in one of the committees what her experience in life was. And she spoke specifically to what you were saying, Mara, whereas what happened when it changed, when all of a sudden you're starting to make money and you, the child, are a de facto employee.
As a child, I was fully aware that I was an employee. The business was successful when I was happy or when I shared my hardships with the world. My friends became scarce because dates were filmed and none of my friends wanted to be on camera.
None of my friends wanted to be on camera. Kids and teenagers oftentimes will shy away from that kind of stuff, that notoriety. They just want to blend in. So I totally get where she's coming from. But when the family, this is the job, this is what mom does, and if you're not involved, then we don't have a job, there is difficulty in this. I think there's a dilemma. Obviously, when we're talking about her situation specifically, where the parent was abusive, then it seems very cut and dry.
Right.
But what about the other parents that are not crossing the line?
Right. Or the kid who's enjoying participating,
love being a
hanging
YouTube
with
star.
his dad, and really just likes the content and the time, and it's intuitive. And then they're also making what in some instances could be generational wealth.
When we come back, let's continue this conversation about this dilemma and what do you do? What are you thinking of? Because this is new media. This is a new ball game. And I don't think we as a community, as legislators, have really a good answer of what to do. As these kind of YouTube channels are growing up, this is more popular than any network television show. Big YouTubers are bigger than anything on Netflix, bigger than anything on Amazon Prime. They are that big, and it is a game changer, and it is a legitimate way to feed your family. It's a business. It's a job now, and we have to look at it and answer some of these tough questions.
9:31 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, Southern Utah residents can feel confident their ballots will be postmarked in time, so long as they get them into mailboxes or the post office before the last pickup of the day before the election. Washington County Clerk Auditor Ryan Sullivan performed some rigorous tests to make absolutely sure.
I mailed out several test pieces of mail at different locations at different times throughout Washington County. And you know what? The mail did exactly what I would expect it to do.
Sullivan says every ballot he put into a mailbox before the last pickup time of the day was postmarked in Las Vegas that same day. Utah police say political signs are being stolen and vandalized, and according to KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson, that's a Class B misdemeanor.
Bountiful City Police Lieutenant Andrew Smith says they've had a handful of reports and have been able to spot some juvenile suspects on video, but young people may not understand the gravity of what they're doing. Any kind of stolen property is considered a crime.
Smith says it's safer to put signs on the interior windows, but we also need to educate our young people on how to be respectful of differing opinions. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, the Biden administration is sounding hopeful that the death of a key Hamas leader could lead to a swift end to violence in Gaza. National Security Advisor John Kirby told reporters today it potentially opens the door to renewed negotiations. Your money at this moment, the Dow is off 50 points. We're at 43,188. Coming up, the rain is already tapering off. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:33. What's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the nines, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
I finally decided a few months ago that enough was enough with the high electrical bills in the summer and the high heating bills in the winter, and it was time to replace our builder-grade windows of our 20-year-old home with the latest and greatest windows from Advanced Window Product. Ever since Jake and Nate showed me a demonstration of what a difference the right kind of window can have on my home's energy use, I couldn't get it off my mind. So my wife and I decided it was time, and man, am I glad we did. From the moment Ken showed up to give us a free in-home estimate, we've had such an outstanding experience through the entire process. Within an hour, we had financing set up, and then about 8 weeks later, the crew showed up and did what we thought was going to be a 2-day installation in a single day. Now our home is more comfortable. Our electrical bills have started to drop. We qualified for energy tax credits to help pay for the windows. And we even took advantage of their expertise and replaced our sliding glass deck door with one that has a pet door built in. Look, I know you don't make a decision like this on a whim. You do your research. So do that. But make sure you call Advanced Window Products at 801-850-9100. And you can get a special deal of $3,000 off 10 windows or more if you mention Andy when you make the appointment. 801-850-9100 or go to advancedwindows.com.
It's official. KSL Sports is your official radio home of the Utah Hockey Club. When the puck hits the ice this fall, you'll hear every goal, every check, and every tension-filled moment on the KSL Sports Zone. Plus, let your voice be heard on the Utah Hockey Club Fan Forum on KSLSports.com, your exclusive home of the NHL and the Utah Hockey Club in Utah is KSL Sports and 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets, if you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services. Services.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Mark Christiansen.
Well, Amanda, I-15 looks good through the Salt Lake Valley, north and southbound from downtown to the point of the mountain. Utah County has been great all morning long. Freeways are drying out, so there's not that delay from having water on the roads. Coming out of Davis County, it looks good all the way from Farmington into the downtown area. Now, if you want delays, look to Bangerter and 201. That's always a mess all day long trying to make that transition right over the 201. And if you're headed eastbound on I-80, expect some snowflakes. It isn't sticking to the highway, but it is snowing in the greater Park City area. Mark Christiansen in the KSL Traffic Center.
We'll have clearing skies this afternoon, but cool with a high of 52. Tonight, clear and cold down to 39. And then the sun comes back out tomorrow. We'll get to about 60 degrees. Right now, it's cloudy and 43 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Ruby Frankie was a mommy vlogger that would post videos about her tough parenting style and became very popular on YouTube. More than 2 million followers, I think 1 billion views in total. It was very, very popular. Well, Ruby Frankie ends up being exposed as being a child abuser, and what she required of her children crossed the line. She ends up going to prison for it. And now one of her oldest daughters, Sherry, is speaking out. And she was speaking specifically to Utah lawmakers on behalf of children that are in these family vlogs. I want to play the story from KSL Television's Shelby Lofton.
Sherry Frankie, a former family vlog star, is advocating for minors on social media. She's the oldest daughter of Ruby Frankie, who, as you heard, is in prison for abusing her 2 youngest children last summer. News specialist Shelby Lofton was in the committee meeting when Frankie heard her testimony. And Shelby, she was highly critical of all family vloggers, including her own mother.
Deanie, she really was. Sherry Frankie said that family vlogging ruined her innocence long before her mother committed a crime, and she thinks it won't be long before other child influencers, especially here in Utah, like her, come forward with other emotional and financial issues stemming from family vlogging.
I don't come today as the daughter of a felon, nor as a victim of an abnormally abusive mother. I come today as a victim of family vlogging.
Sherry Frankie spoke about her family life for the first time since her mother Ruby's arrest. She told lawmakers about the harms she experienced from family vlogging.
As a child, I was fully aware that I was an employee. The business was successful when I was happy or when I shared my hardships with the world.
Her life from 13 to 17 years old was posted online for thousands to watch on her family's 8 Passengers channel.
My friends became scarce because dates were filmed and none of my friends wanted to be on camera.
Frankie hopes family vlogging is ultimately banned. She says there's no such thing as an ethical family vlogger. Some of her extended family members continue to post videos of their family's lives online, along with several other content creators in Utah.
I foresee there will be legal crises, with these children realizing that vlogging has brought severe emotional distress, or these kids may realize they don't have an appropriate amount of money to show for their labor.
She's working with Representative Doug Owens.
When they reach adulthood, they may not like the way they're being portrayed. Maybe they need to have some control over taking content down off the internet.
He's working on proposing protections for child actors and influencers. He and Frankie spoke about payment for children.
I think we ought to be talking about a percentage.
Frankie said she was paid for her contributions to the vlogs, often through bribes.
We'd be rewarded $100 or a shopping trip if we filmed a particularly embarrassing moment or an exciting event.
She said none of that money was worth it.
I'd rather have an empty bank account now and not have my childhood plastered all over the internet.
And when I listen to this story, Maura, my heart goes out to this child. But we have dealt, to your point you were making earlier, we've dealt with child celebrities in the past. Right. And I don't know if we've necessarily viewed family vloggers in the same light as child celebrities.
Right. You know, when you look back at Shirley Temple back in the day, or Britney Spears, or Lindsay Lohan. We've seen these child celebrity conversations play out for since videos have existed, TV in that instance, but since videos have existed. And we have landed on some places about what is guardianship and what is overexposing, and this really interesting issue of where the piece brought up, well, where did this child just become an employee and yet not have the rights and benefits of an employee?
Because these YouTubers make millions.
Right.
When you're talking about millions of subscribers and billions of views, you are talking about millions, oftentimes tens of millions of dollars that the family is bringing in. And you could even see from Ruby Frankie, she lives down in southern Utah in this big, beautiful house. And obviously the money is very good. Trying to figure out what the kids deserve as employees, how do you figure that out? Because as a parent, we're in this weird world because I pay for everything.
Right.
I pay for the house, I pay for your food, I pay for your insurance, and you make a little money on the side, which is nice, but I take on that responsibility, happy to do so. So if I were to make money on the YouTube channel, how do we divide this up equitably from employee to CEO, so to speak?
Yeah, this is even more relevant because if we look at how fast our relationship is going with social media content, one would argue that back in the day, so I think back in the day, Davis, maybe 6-7 years ago, that I think that content was largely started by recreationalists.
Yeah.
But now we do know that you can make millions of dollars doing this. So now actually people are choosing it as a career, much like they're choosing acting and celebrityness and saying, gosh, my forum, I want to be a superstar, and my forum is going to be YouTube or social media. So my question there is, does the intent of the parent matter? We're talking about parents who probably just started out recreational and then it turned into it. What happens when this parent's intent is to create celebrities of their life, of their kids? Isn't that just using your kid?
Well, it's a great question because if you were to say, hey, listen, family business is plumbing, and I'm going to teach you how to be a plumber from the age of 5, and you're going to know all the tricks of the trade, and then you're going to take over the family business, and there's a pressure to take over the family business. That story happens all the time. We don't give it a second thought. But as soon as we put it out in public, on a video, on a vlog, on YouTube, now the concern is, are we crossing a line now? Were we crossing a line with Britney Spears, or were we crossing a line with Shirley Temple? Right. Just because the reach is more, is incredible, that more people are aware of it. Is that kind of expectation and growth and having your kid work on a farm?
Yeah.
Is that crossing a line?
So I want to jump into sort of what I feel like is the moral and ethical dilemma, is that when there's a lot of money involved, we have a different ethical dilemma when we view it. Here's my example. If we're looking at a situation where children are cheaper and easier to pay in a mine, they don't ask for much. Right. They don't need as breaks. The little hands can really get in and get whatever the child labor is. We've asked and answered ethically on whether children should be taken out of school and put in and be used as cheaper and better labor, even though one could argue that the conditions around, they're younger, they're smaller, they can fit into, whatever the made-up industry that I'm talking about. Right. Why isn't this just child labor? And the ethical dilemma is, I feel like if I'm sorting through all my feelings, the answer to that is because it's not hard labor, and frankly, Dave, we can make a lot of money. So somehow our ethics are tied up in how lucrative this is.
That's a fantastic point. And I think that's what Sherry Frankie, the daughter of Ruby Frankie, is asking legislators to wrestle with.
Right.
And figure out. She's calling for an all-out ban on family vlogs because she had an extremely abusive, terrible experience in her family vlog. There are other family vloggers, I'm sure, that have a wonderful bonding experience. So should they be prevented from producing that?
That's exactly right. Like, you know, there are some kids for whom this is so much fun. And so then you're bonding with your family, you're building your family unit, and you're also maybe creating financial security. That's a win-win-win. It brings the other big conversation up, which is, how definitionally do minors show consent? Because legally, that's the whole thing. Dave, you and I sign for our children until they're 18 and 21, depending. So how does how do you get to consent with a 10-year-old?
It is incredibly difficult, but I think it's an important conversation that we need to start having. And I think you and I, we're still figuring it out. Like I don't know if I came to a great conclusion other than I can see from the parents' point of view, if this is how you're going to feed your family and perhaps create generational wealth, and the kids are going to be participants, if they're willing participants, then this is an incredible opportunity. And then you see the flip side of when it goes wrong.
And it's not the kids' responsibility to create the financial security for their families.
It is a great conversation, and we will continue to have this because I think Frankie has asked a very important question. We are going to wrestle with it. And it maybe sounds easy to just ban family vlogs, but it is so much more complicated than that because how far does it stretch from there? Do you start banning parents posting their kids on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook? What are their rights there as well? The new technology, way back in the day, 7 years ago, like you said. When we come back, let's shift the conversation. Let's look at water as we're seeing the wonderful rain come down.
Love it.
What does that mean? Because I have not thought about water in detail other than we've had a lot of it because we've had good snow seasons.
Finally Friday.
Rolling thunder broke the priceless sky.
With Dave and Dujanovic.
The pieces fell to earth from up on high. Then the rain came, then the rain came, then the rain.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Here's a trick to podcasting at work and getting all the Utah news you love.
Download the KSL News Radio app.
The podcast for Utah's morning news, and Dave and Debbie are right there. Dozens of podcasts a day.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Hey, folks, let me tell you, when I joined Salt Lake City Fat Loss, this was back in February. It was with my fingers crossed that I was going to see some big results because I've tried to lose weight in the past. I think every one of us have tried to lose weight in the past, and it kind of peters out after a couple of weeks, and or maybe you do it for a long time and you just don't see the big results. Salt Lake City Fat Loss says they have the secret to losing a pound or two or up to a pound a day, and many people will lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two. I lost 57 in 60 days. So right on that pound a day, and I felt so much better. I felt great. Because the results were so good, I was able to stay motivated, and we did it without surgery and without injections. If you're interested, go ahead and reach out to them. Schedule a free consultation at slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Teens can get up to $200 with a Teen Learn and Earn account. Plus, continue earning rewards as they master the essentials of finance. More at cypresscu.com/teen.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
I am Rochelle Morris, and I'm running for Salt Lake County Council at large. As I've spent time getting to know you, from Magna to Mill Creek and from Salt Lake City to Sandy, I've become even more convinced that there is so much that you and I have in common. In Salt Lake County, we want accountability for our tax dollars. We want collaborative problem solving to tackle housing affordability, homelessness, and transportation needs. We want safe parks and neighborhoods for our kids and our families. When you elect me in November, I will work earnestly to best serve and represent you. I'll deliver real results on the issues that matter most. Whether you live in the north end or the south end of the county, the east side or the west side, I will be your advocate. I love our county, and I'll get right to work making Salt Lake County work better for all of us. I'm Rochelle Morris, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rochelle Morris for Salt Lake County Council.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com. Or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. That's why our Lowe's Red Vest associates can help with game time decisions. Plus, use in-store mode on the Lowe's app to find what you need. Under pressure at home and want it soon? Order online by 2 p.m. to get it same day. Same day valid on eligible in-stock items and select zip codes only. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. Exclusions and more terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, new details in a deadly case of road rage that happened earlier this month on the 201 freeway. Charging documents say dispatchers reported Thomas Long laughed after calling 911 to report he'd shot the other driver. Second, Ogden drivers can expect detours in place to navigate around the 12th Street this weekend at the Union Pacific Railroad tracks. The road closes tonight at 9 and reopens on Monday. Third, the U.S. Postal Service is getting a boost from Gen Z. Stamps.com reports users in their teens and 20s prefer sending and receiving old-fashioned letters. Right now, it's 43 degrees in Salt Lake City. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
I kind of chuckle because about a week and a half ago, Debbie and I were talking about Hottober. Like the hottest October in history at 90 degrees where faces are melting off. It is absolutely miserable. And then you look outside today and you're like, do you think the sun will ever come out again?
That's right.
Do you think it's ever going to come out?
We're talking snow. We're hunkering down.
Yeah, there's snow going on right now in all parts of the state. Debbie Dujanovic is off today, but Mara Carabello is filling in, host of KSL at Night, runs the Exoro group. And you are to water what I am to sports. It's like your passion. It's your love. It's what you do in your free time.
Wow. It makes me, I understand the geekiness of that assertion. I wasn't always this way in my defense.
Geek.
It is. I mean, well, I can't even pretend. It's been about a decade that I've started doing work with our good friends in the water community. David has everything. It has money, intrigue. You know that old phrase that whiskey is for drinking and water is for fighting. And, I'm not going to dive into it. I'm not going to apologize. We live in one of the most arid states in the nation. And water, so it was never a big deal until we got bigger. And the bigger we get, it's going to be the deal. It's a big deal.
Well, and we forgot about it, or we've forgotten about it, I think, in the last couple of years. Because if we go back to 2022, we're in the middle of a drought.
Right.
The Great Salt Lake is drying up to levels we have not seen in decades.
Right.
Maybe ever. And we are concerned that this dry is going to be a dry lake. There are toxic chemicals that could go up in the dust, and it's going to be just a disaster. And then we have an all-time epic winter where we have unbelievable snowfall. We fill up our reservoirs that were essentially bone dry, and I have hardly thought about it since.
That's right. 2 good years, bada bing, bada bang, problem solved. Yeah. That is the slogan of modern culture right there. It's the next shiny thing, and it's hard to keep. Well, the other thing about it is, let's talk about the Great Salt Lake. It's really hard to keep up the conversation on intense issues, partly because they're too intense. And when you can't make immediate change, you just create anxiety, right?
Right.
So let's talk about the Great Salt Lake. Let's start with all of our water topics. The state of Utah has done major league investing in the Great Salt Lake, redirecting water there, looking at the water levels, even just creating that attention to it. But this is a generational solve, right? This is not going to be solved with 2 good water years. We do need some help from Mother Nature, which is really stressful because she doesn't always listen to us. And so it's complicated. I will say the state legislature hasn't forgotten about the Great Salt Lake. But here's what's tugging on that. Tugging on that is the demand for a growing population, right? And if it's a choice between you having clean drinking water in your house and the Great Salt Lake, that's a harder discussion. We all want the Great Salt Lake to be healthy. We all understand the dilemma of the dust and the salinity and the birds and the migratory patterns, and that the health of the entire Wasatch Front is in fact related to the Great Salt Lake. But we also need water in our taps.
And one of the struggles we have is, sure, if it's drinking water for me or the Great Salt Lake, we take the drinking water for me every single time. The question we're having a hard time discussing is, are we willing to take it away from the farmers?
And are we willing to take it away from your 1/4 acre of Kentucky bluegrass? Right? I mean, so what we should be doing, what we should first and foremost know as people, is that most of our water waste is our lawns. And by most, I mean really, really
But you're
most.
you're saying waste. Most of the water that gets used is from agriculture.
That's right. So M&I, which is municipal and industrial, which is our businesses and our homes, are a teeny little portion. And the rest, the majority of water just never gets captured. Right. The next biggest one is agriculture. And agriculture is an interesting dilemma because at a sort of philosophical cellular level, we're like, no, growing is important, and farms are important, and lifestyle of farming is important. And then you have to say, well, I mean, we're not really a farming state, which are fighting words when you say things like that. Looking at the kinds of crops that we choose to grow, those are fighting words. And the thing the quiet part that no one talks about is some of our biggest farmers in the state and biggest landowners are also some of our biggest influencers, right? I mean, we've got a lot of large-scale landowners, and they are using their property to do agriculture because you have a lot of benefits, a lot of financial benefits from doing agriculture. So what do you do when there's 2 equally held values, right? And our lifestyle of farming is a held value. But right now, you're right. The policy area that we have not approached, that we're starting to approach is, hey, is agriculture, should it always take precedence over things like the Great Salt Lake?
So we ran out of time. There's so much more I want to talk to you about. But this is okay because this isn't going away.
There's always time to talk about water, Dave.
Always time to talk about water. But I think you make a very important point. Even though it's not at the top of our mind, the state legislature is still addressing this and trying to figure out what the future looks like, because you're trying to balance growth and water, and it's not an easy marriage.
Nope.
But it is a marriage. You got to figure it out.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson. KSL's top story this hour, the Washington County Clerk and Auditor says he's taking steps to ensure every valid ballot gets counted. But he says the burden of getting those ballots in on time rests solely with the voter.
If you want a 100% guarantee that your ballot's going to make it to the election center, vote in person or put your ballot in one of these drop boxes.
Clerk Auditor Ryan Sullivan says there are 19 drop box locations in his county after a congressional candidate claimed some ballots were dated late because they were sent to Las Vegas before being stamped. Sullivan says he tested several pieces of mail, and every piece that was in a mailbox before the last pickup time of the day was stamped that day in Las Vegas. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The Biden administration is sounding hopeful that the death of a key Hamas leader could lead to a swift end to violence in Gaza.
The president still believes that that intensive diplomacy is still the preferred path, that we are now, and now with Sinwar gone, we are in a unique opportunity to really take that to the next level, try to get a ceasefire in Gaza, but as well to try to get a ceasefire up in the north against Hezbollah.
That's National Security Advisory John Kirby, who today reiterated U.S. support for Israel. Your money at this moment, a bit of a mixed market. The Dow has lost 37 points, but the S&P is in the green, 16 points. The NASDAQ is also up 102 points. BYU hosts Oklahoma State tonight. The Cougars are looking to start the season 7-0 for the first time since, or 7-0 for the first time since 2020, and the fifth time in school history. Pre-game coverage starts at 5:30 here on KSL News Radio, sponsored by UCCU. Love where you bank. Coming up, we could get some more rain. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:01.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
In 2024, dating is a disaster.
We've been ghosted, breadcrumbed, stuck in situationships. Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm Caitlin. Welcome to our new podcast, Dating at Her Age.
Dating has been so dicey for us, we asked KSL, can we launch an all-new podcast about it?
People use these dating apps. You're not really dating when you're on the dating app.
Dating at Her Age, brought to you by Mountain Home Services. A new episode drops every Thursday on KSLNewsRadio.com.
You do countless things without a second thought to protect your family and home. Every time you're in the car, you buckle your seatbelt. Before the next load of laundry, you remove the dryer lint. When you head out, you always lock your doors. And one simple task, done far less often, can protect your family and home this winter. Schedule a furnace inspection by a certified heating contractor to check for safety and efficiency. A friendly reminder from Enbridge Gas.
With interest rates coming back down, I bet the real estate market will pick back up in 2024. We're already seeing that, Tim.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter how the market is doing when you have the right team. So if you're looking to sell your house, now you want to downsize or you need more space, you need the Stern team.
The Stern team has taught us, I can think of a handful of things that I would worry about if I was buying or selling, but there are 100 details that are involved in selling a home, and they have lots of people that are handling every detail so nothing falls through the cracks.
And they have so many different options. I mean, I worked with Cammie there at the Stern team, and she was awesome. But if you need an instant cash offer, you can do that. If you need to buy before you sell, you can do that. They have flexible fees.
They also have people that they represent that are looking to buy a home, so maybe they can make that perfect connection within the Stern team.
So don't put off selling your house or buying a house because you think the market isn't just right. The market is right with the Stern team.
Go online to sternteam.com or just Google the Stern team.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay apps. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's our traffic center.
Well, we're hearing of an accident or a possible accident in the middle of the intersection around Redwood Road, about 4700 South. It looks like fire crews headed that direction there. On I-15 here in the Salt Lake Valley, traffic's really in great shape. Lighter traffic flow for this time of the morning, moving both north and southbound. Westbound on the 201 even looks good through 3200 West construction. If you're headed to the airport, westbound I-80 from I-15 or 215 looks good also. No problems in Utah County, no problems to report in Davis County. Winter fun starts at the Utah Snowmobile Show at Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. Snowmobiles, winter activity, and more at the Utah Snowmobile Show October 18th and 19th at Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. I'm Mark Christiansen in the KSL Traffic Center.
More chances for rain this afternoon, a high of 52 degrees today, and then it will start to warm up and clear up. Sunny skies for the weekend and temperatures in the 60s. Right now it's 44 degrees and cloudy. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Your voice, your vote. Elections 101 on KSL News Radio.
Elections 101, we talk about this every single year. We love talking about elections here at KSL News Radio. We love it. I learned something. I learned something recently, and I learned that Southern Utah is not Northern Utah. I know. Write it down. I can repeat that again slowly if you're taking notes. Mara Carabello is filling in for Debbie Dujanovic today. Mara, thank you. And yeah, like you said, you're taking notes over there.
That's right.
Southern Utah has some struggles, or some perceived struggles with voting that maybe we don't. And I want to spell it out a little bit. You're a total political insider. Did you know that the voting issues, the vote by mail in Southern Utah is a little tricky, a little wonky?
I did. I also know that there is currently in America a very strong relationship to your political point of view is often what is guiding your view of the technical parts of voting.
Okay. You spoke around that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like sort of, this suspicion about the process.
It's coming from one
the
side.
The suspicion that we're wild and crazy, also is tainting or informing how easy you think it is, how secure you think it is. But I'm going to just present that those are political points of view, perhaps not technical evaluations of a system.
Yeah, very, very good point, because we've talked to so many different county clerks across the state, and to the person, they say, if you want to see the process, come over.
Amen.
We will walk you through and hold your hand and explain every single part of the technical process.
I've had the good fun of being a poll watcher of several times. And I will tell you, if you are a listener who is like, I don't trust what's going on, take the day off and go be a poll watcher. You will feel so much better about Utah's voting system when you see it in action. The closer you get to it, the more confidence you'll have.
You will also be bored to tears.
You will, and you may question your fellow residents.
Yeah, I mean, it's
sanity
just,
levels.
It is so highly organized and repetitive, and you're just watching the same thing happen over and over and over again.
But back to Washington County, I want to give them a little street cred here. So one of the things that we Northerners need to start grappling with is what a big stinking deal they are in terms of being a voter bloc. Like, we're so used to, like, we are New York, like, right? Like, the sun rises and sets by us on the Wasatch Front. It is just not true. They are no longer a rural area. They are an urban, dense area, and their population is huge, and their political sway is just getting bigger.
So here's the problem, and I want to play. We are able to talk to Washington County Clerk Ryan Sullivan about some of the perceived problems in southern Utah. Don Brinkerhoff did a great interview with him, and I'm going to play a big chunk of it. So let me set up the problem first before I play Washington County Clerk's response. But one of the complaints, and this came from a former candidate, Colby Jenkins, and it was, when you're voting by mail, you can drop it off in the drop box, you can vote in person, or you can put it in your mailbox. Here's the problem in southern Utah and some of the more rural areas of southern Utah. Say you put your ballot in the mailbox. They come and pick it up. They don't postmark it right there in the city, which is what happens so often here in northern Utah. We have a post office. We just postmark everything in a very close area. What they do is they will actually ship these ballots to Las Vegas. So you're a couple hours away. You're shipping the postmark all the way to Las Vegas. That's where they postmark it, and then they ship it back to Utah. So during that transit, this is something that Southern Utahns have known for a long time, is you have to maybe build in a little bit more of a buffer of when you mail your ballot. You can't just send it the day before like you can in Northern Utah. You've actually got to send it down to or send it a day or two early to make sure that if it does go down to Las Vegas, that it gets postmarked in time. So that's the problem. Well, Don Brinkerhoff, and you may have heard this on Utah's Morning News this morning, spoke with Washington County Clerk and Auditor Ryan Sullivan about this voting by mail, and he said he's run a little test on this, and it's not as big a problem as maybe has been portrayed.
We've been doing a lot of social media posts just to let the voters here know my recommendations, and I'll go over those really quick. 1, vote in person or use one of our drop boxes. We have 19 drop box locations throughout Washington County, and those ballots are all picked up by my staff. And so if you want a 100% guarantee that your ballot's going to make it to the election center, vote in person or put your ballot in one of these drop boxes. Now, I understand that some people, their only option is to vote by mail, and I don't want to discourage them from doing that if that's the option that they have to use. But if you're going to do it, I highly suggest that you mail it early. And if you're close to Election Day and you're still needing to mail your ballot, I can't say this enough that I would go into a post office and have the clerk there hand stamp your ballot, your envelope with a postmark, and look at it. Make sure that you can read the date on the postmark before you let them mail that off. Those are the 3 suggestions I would say, but I've been in contact with our 2 local postmasters, one in Hurricane and one in St. George, and they're going to do their part by they've told me that they're gathering up all of those ballots that come in the day before election, and they're going to hand stamp those with the postmark so that it gets postmarked timely. Again, I can't control that. I wish I could. I'm not there to see if that happens. I believe them. However, that's why I'm just really encouraging people to vote in person or to use one of our drop boxes, or if you're going to vote by mail, take those extra precautions that I described earlier. I did do a little test after the last election. I mailed out several test pieces of mail at different locations at different times throughout Washington County. And you know what? The mail did exactly what I would expect it to do. If I turn that piece of mail in before the pickup time, it all got postmarked in Las Vegas with that day's date. If I put it in after the pickup time, I think up here, the last one I remember was the St. George 84770 post office. I put that in after the pickup time, which I believe was 3:15. It got postmarked the following day in Las Vegas. So I'm not so sure that there's a big issue, believe it or not, with the mail going to Las Vegas as it's been reported in the news. I'm just looking at the test that I performed, and if I had that ballot put in there before the pickup time, it got postmarked in Las Vegas on the day that I put it in there. I also think that there's some confusion. People that they'll mail their ballot on Election Day, and if you do that, it's late. So we've been trying to message that as well, that, look, people, you can't mail your ballot on Election Day because it is late. And I've looked into that, and I've wondered why you can't mail a ballot and have it postmarked on Election Day. And I was told that the reason they do that they have it, the law, the day before Election Day, is that there's a post office up on the Wasatch Front that's open 24 hours a day. So someone could potentially go in after the polls have closed and cast a ballot that would be postmarked that day. I'm not 100% on that, but that's just what I heard of why it has to be postmarked the day prior.
I had actually wondered that for years, like, why can't we just send it the day of? And had you ever heard that?
Yeah, I have. And I do think I have also heard that it is because there are, I think, a couple of post offices in the Wasatch Front that are available all the time. Hey, what I love about the Washington County Clerk and Auditor is how practical this interview was. I really appreciate when people are like, hey, I tested all this out too. One of the things that I think some kind of myths that we're operating on is, even when we describe it, we're like, yeah, and then they sent these ballots all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada. Right. Okay. You want to track your Amazon order because, like, they go, or why do I go to Miami before I go to San Diego on my flight? So, like, I'm just saying logistics, like, first and foremost, I know we're beating up the post office the last few years, but they're not completely without experience. They know what they're talking about. Nobody here is saying, Dave, they sent the Heber ballots to Salt Lake City. Yes, it is the closest clearinghouse. It doesn't matter that it's in Nevada. It's good logistics. So, like, this drama of that we're somehow shipping it to, Wisconsin. No, it's the closest major clearinghouse. And as the clerk pointed out really well, we need to, like, all of us get this on our tax day, right? We know the fine line between postmarking your taxes right before. He points out, like, know the drop-off dates, or perhaps just vote the day ahead. But I love what he reminded us of. If you want to vote in person, like, if you're stressed, if vote by mail is stressing you out, there are two easy things to do. One, decide to send it in 2 days ahead if you still want to vote by mail, or two, just drop it into your Dropbox. And again, like, it's the system is working, I think, for us.
When we come back, I want to continue this system is working conversation because I have been very, very happy with mail-in voting. I like the experience. I will walk you through why I like that. But let's also explore some of the concerns and whether or not it's valid, these concerns about mail-in voting here in Utah.
Finally, Friday.
You got to set 'em up. You got to set 'em up. You got to set them up.
With Dave and Dujanovic.
Set them up. And never, never let them go. Now never, never, never let them go. Never, never, never let them go. Let them go. Never, never, never let them go.
Yes, the 2024 election is big,
I approve this message.
but so much else is happening.
Possible property tax increase.
Construction along Banter Highway. Budget cuts could impact education.
We'll document everything on KSL News Radio. Start with Tim and Amanda, mornings from 5 to 9. Join the conversation with Dave and Debbie and Boyd Matheson, middays. And get the latest on your drive home with Jeff Kaplan, 3 to 7. We have you covered in your car at 102.7 FM.
Hi, Doug Wright here with one more little experiment you can do at home. In a pan of water, all you have to do is stir in limestone, calcium, magnesium particles, and then heat that whole mess up on the stove. And you know what, on second thought, not such a good idea, because limestone, calcium, and magnesium particles heated in water will clump and stick to your pan like concrete, which incidentally is exactly what's going on inside your water heater. Think about it, limestone, calcium, magnesium, that's what makes hard water hard. And trust me on this, if you live in northern Utah, your home has hard water. So call Connecticut of Utah. I'll give you the number in a moment. They'll test your water's hardness for free, and they'll show you the patented design features that make Connecticut water softeners work better than any other. Connecticut of Utah, an authorized Connecticut dealer. To learn more, call Connecticut. It's 801-576-8600 or log on to softwaterutah.com. And call now while it's on your mind.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales, and we are broadcasting live today from Minky Couture in Layton. And I got up this morning, and we have been opening our windows at night and closing them in the day. And
that's over.
I had to get out of my Minky that, Sandy, I have slept in every single night in the heat of summer. But it's so much better in the cool of the fall.
The crisp of the fall, but there's snow on the mountains.
Who do you know that we're at Minky today and the weather is inclement?
I know. I said, make sure I ordered up a storm for today.
Nice work.
Well, it worked. And I tell you what, if you've never slept in a Minky blanket, You dread the mornings because then you have to get out of
Get
them.
out. I know. I did the same thing. I had to get up 5:30 with my trainer, and I thought, I
Ugh.
cannot leave this cozy blanket. But I did.
And we're glad that you're here. So tell us, because movie show listeners, I already see people waiting outside the door because they know today's a movie show at Minky Couture, and that means
And
that
they came
Sandy
to
has
see
some
you guys.
awesome deals. No way. They
That's
came to see
adorable.
the awesome stuff you guys have.
So what's the
So
deal
what have
today?
you got
Okay,
for
so
us?
the deals are literally we're preparing for all the holidays, and Halloween is a big holiday, and we love
sure.
blankets, Halloween blankets. So we have a great special on Halloween blankets today because we're trying to get behind the scenes ready for Christmas, but Halloween today is everything is online and in the store 65% off. Just the Halloween blankets. And I wrote down the prices because I said, what is 65? I mean, the viewers out there were going 65 in my head % off. And you can't do that while you're driving.
No, please don't. Sandy will tell you right now.
I've got them. Like a print infant blanket of a Halloween print, which is so fun to have for your kids if you're going on a vacation or strolling them through Disneyland. You got to have a Halloween blanket.
Sure. And they make such good pictures, too.
And they make such cute. They're great Instagram pictures. $27 for an infant print, $34 for a tween, $62 for an adult, and Monsters only $83. So you can have
such a deal.
I know, such a deal. And then the plush ones, we have some plush this year that have a ghost black ones. Steve, you need this. It's black with a white ghost. You would love it.
I think I would.
Yes. And those are $31 for an infant, $48 for a tween, adult $66, a Monsters $87, but a grande in a plush Monster Ghost is only $109. Or no, it's $104.
Those are some amazing deals. That's on Halloween. We're going to tell you about all kinds of deals that they have. Plus, I think once we actually get into the movie show, there'll be another cool discount on some non-Halloween too. But we'll save that for the movie show. So we've got that at Minky Couture live today on KSL News Radio.
Oh, yeah, I'm in.
Perfect.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Britt Johnson. First, now that ballots are out, the Washington County Clerk and Auditor wants to remind people that the burden of getting those ballots in on time rests solely with the voter. Second, the Biden administration is sounding hopeful that the death of a key Hamas leader could lead to a swift end to violence in Gaza. Third, BYU hosts Oklahoma State tonight. The Cougars are looking to start the season 7-0 for the first time since 2020 and the 5th time in school history. Right now it's 44 degrees and cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
We have been voting by mail for a while now.
Yeah, we were an early adopter.
Early adopters, and a little bit strange, because right now when we're talking about voting by mail, this has been something that Donald Trump, the Republican nominee, has been warring against for 4 years.
Yeah, this has
and
been
longer.
a huge issue for him.
A huge issue. So I think it's very interesting that when you hear Trump talk about mail-in voting and casting all sorts of doubt on the process around the country, we here in Utah, a Republican enclave, who have essentially had the supermajority for as long as I can remember, made all the rules, all the voting procedures have been done by Republicans. We've been doing it for the better part of 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this doubt creeping in here in Utah?
Yeah, I love this point because it's about us being better consumers of information and news. And the Trump campaign right now has a lot of momentum and a lot riding on this suspicion of systems and how he will bring sort of openness and transparency. Again, as you point out, our vote by mail process and procedures and audits have been led by conservative Republicans. Our systems are led by conservative Republicans because that's who we have had in control, and it's been highly successful. What do you do when the candidate you support nationally is selling a political notion that doesn't sync actually with the political reality of the state, even though they're both sort of coming from a conservative point of view? We have seen a couple of local legislators. Usually how it gets expressed in Utah is to say we need to make sure we're auditing the system. We need to make sure we're protecting it. And all of us agree to that. Like, things stay good because people stay alert and vigilant, right? But I do think, Dave, this is a classic current American construct, which is, how do we hear politics? And I'm not saying disregard politics, but how do you hear what is a political construct? And then how, like the clerk we just listened to in the last bit, how do we actually go see what's happening? And is there anything we should be worried about? And the reality in Utah is there has never been a statistical variance that would make us think that our elections aren't working perfectly well. Now, are there mistakes? Yep. There will be mistakes forever. The best system ever has mistakes. Why? Because we as humans make a lot of mistakes when we vote and we participate. But I guess I will out. I'm very frustrated with the repetition of this conversation because the system has been audited and overviewed. And why aren't we happy with the fact that it seems to be, in most instances, working for us?
The messaging is so strange for me, and having run so many political campaigns in your life, maybe you can speak to this messaging. I don't understand the undercutting of the system from Trump, when I think the more effective message would have been, yeah, I lost in 2020, and you thought you wanted Joe Biden. You got Joe Biden. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Yeah. Like, that's a very easy message. And if people say, no, I am not, then it's like, well, that's what you wanted. Are you ready for a change? Admit you made a mistake. That messaging to me makes so much more sense than the I didn't lose.
Yeah.
I really am a gold medalist. I'm not a silver medalist.
Our brains are highly motivated by fear and suspicion, and we're less motivated by reason. I mean, that's the short answer. And Donald Trump has invested 5 years in this messaging that is absolutely paying off for him. And he is using it again. How does a state like Utah hear Donald Trump, maybe even support Donald Trump, but take away again his political pitch to us and evaluate Utah's election systems without some of that political rhetoric involved?
You say it is working for him?
I mean,
I think I'm not entirely certain this message is resonating with most of America. I think they ignore it,
right,
largely, and then they focus on the things about Trump that they do.
I agree with that on the persuasion voters. I think this is not a good topic for him, but his hardcore MAGA supporters think that there is a giant conspiracy going on, that institutions of America are corrupt. It's this interesting argument of, unusually so, the Republicans usually take the patriotic point of view. This is a surprisingly unpatriotic point of view, but it is resonating with a group in which patriotism is highly important.
Well, I think it's fascinating, and having spoken to so many county clerks that are willing to open their doors up and show you from start to finish exactly how the process works. And then we have poll watchers that can actually watch it taking place. And you can compare and contrast. Are they doing what they told you they would do? And time again, they have followed it to the T. And I think we should look at it and celebrate the fact that mail-in voting is different than the way we did it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not see any egregious errors or systems that are causing me to doubt the entire system. So if that's not the case, then why are we not celebrating that? And why do we allow for a constant barrage of, hey, this isn't working, this isn't working? Okay, then prove it to me. Prove it to me why it's
Yeah,
not.
and you know where I always end is when you're worried about the system, instead of worrying about the system, take personal responsibility, and that's how democracy works.
When we come back, I'm excited to talk about the Congressional District 3 debate, mostly because the debate itself was pretty uneventful. But what happened afterwards, during the handshake, that's when it got a little spicy. We'll tell you that story next.
It's 10:31 at KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson. KSL's top story this hour, we're learning more about a man who is accused of shooting and killing another driver earlier this month. He's now facing murder charges. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit reports.
It was on the 7th when Jose Ramirez was shot and killed during a road rage incident in West Valley City. Thomas Jim Long is the other driver, and he claimed self-defense after he shot 15 rounds at Ramirez. Investigators, however, say no weapons were found on Ramirez nor in his vehicle. Charges even allege Long laughed at one point while talking to dispatch.
An autopsy on Ramirez showed he was hit 8 times during the shooting, all from a distance of less than 3 feet away. A Davis County title agent who admitted to cheating clients out of more than $6.5 million is headed to prison. Ryan Goodrich was sentenced earlier this week to at least 3 years and up to 40 years in prison. Several clients say they sold their homes to Goodrich only to find out later they were delinquent in payments and on the hook for them. Your money at this moment, the Dow is off 5 points, but the S&P has gained 18 points and the NASDAQ is up 102 points. Coming up, we'll take a look at the weekend forecast. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
I've told you for months now that I have been working with Salt Lake City Fat Loss. Let me walk you through the program a little bit because it can be overwhelming, maybe intimidating to think about joining a weight loss program. With Salt Lake City Fat Loss, they broke it up in a couple of different ways. Number one is the reduction phase, and that's 2 months long. So if you think, oh, I've got to cut out all the food that I love for the rest of my life, that is not this program. That is not the case. You don't have to have an incredibly restrictive diet for the rest of your life. For a couple of months, you're going to have a pretty restrictive diet, but I felt like it was balanced. It wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. And then you go into the maintenance phase after those 2 months, and they teach you how to start incorporating some of those foods that you still like, but maybe just not overdo it. I lost 57 pounds in 60 days, and I think you will really like the program. I was very, very happy with it. So go to Salt Lake City Fat Loss, check out their website, schedule a free consultation by going to slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales, and we are broadcasting live from Minky Couture in Layton, and we are looking at a gorgeously decorated store with all.
To look a lot like Christmas.
Look, here's the thing: Minky Couture has got so much incredible inventory that they had to add extra shelves.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it does no good to have empty shelves and then waiting for restock. So, Sandy, great idea. Put in some more shelves with more stuff.
Obviously, I just think, sometimes things are obvious. We have a big demand for certain items, and we were running out of room, so let's just make more shelves, put it all out there. People love to have a selection.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and you've got a great selection. I'm looking at sleeping bags. I didn't know you made Minky sleeping bags.
Oh,
How do
my
I not know
goodness.
these things?
Wait, you make
We do.
sleeping bags?
Well, look at all those. Aren't those cute?
Guess I didn't read the top.
Yes. They're our little couture line, and those are sleeping bags. We have the little ones for ages 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have a regular size one for the bigger kids, for me, you, everybody. But obviously they're not, well, you might like the camel one.
She's guessing on the designs
Yeah.
that you'd like,
I'm
Steve.
going, you
Well,
know.
here's the thing. I
Not
would
black
like
enough?
whatever it was, and then I wouldn't want to get out of it. And that's the
Yes,
problem, is they're
that's
so
the problem.
comfortable.
Well, isn't that perfect for kids for a sleepover? Put them in that sleeping bag and zip them up and say goodnight, and they don't want to get out because they're too cozy.
Oh,
Man,
that's
you
the
have
best thing.
expanded your line. I can remember when we were in that closet.
Can you remember? Yes. When I
Handing
had-
blankets over.
When I
like,
had
you need a
8
blanket? Here we go.
blankets.
Well, people are starting to think ahead for the holidays, Sandy, because they're going to want to get, because this, you've said this is the best gift you could ever give. And I was like, sure it is. Then I got one for Christmas last year, and I have to agree.
It literally is such a great gift because it's a gift that keeps giving. I mean, it washes. You can take good care of it. You have it night after night. You use it every day. There's not a lot of products that you use every day and give you so much comfort.
I use it twice a day. I take naps on my
Yeah.
bed now. I don't even bother with the couch. I go back up to the bed because I can put the blanket over me.
I know, that's so funny. Your wife's looking for you.
I should just check where the blanket is.
Follow the blanket.
The worst is my kids have their own Minkies, and they come and try to steal mine.
I know.
Oh,
My
see.
kids still try to take mine.
Oh, mine do take
Yes,
mine.
yours do.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I told you need to lock your doors, or buy them 1 or 2 or 3.
They've all got 1 or 2 or 3. Now they like daddy's 1 or 2 or 3.
They do. There's nothing like a new one, and we come out all the time with new colors, new prints, just innovative new plush. We have higher GSM, which people probably don't know, grams per square meter. So we do thicker, more luxurious, and we're just always trying to come up with a new fun way to, create a Minky.
Well, I love the hugs, and now you've got
Oh.
sleeping bags, and good grief. woman.
Literally, and hugs are always our number one favorite. And I think it's because it hugs you back, and it's got that stretch in it. And
Oh, the hugs are the best.
Yes, we were the first ones to have the hugs. They're now about 8 years old here at Minky Couture. Wow. We found the fabric. My daughter found it, and we just said we should make this little scrap that we found into a blanket, and it has been a hit.
Absolutely.
Well, we've got deals 65% off the Halloween-themed
Halloween
stuff today,
dress,
and we've got
yes.
more deals that will come up, and we'll tell you during the movie show when it starts at 11 at Minky Couture.
Yay, can't wait.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Mark Christiansen.
We're looking at a bit of a delay if you're headed northbound on I-15. It starts about 106 south, and it's due to a truck trying to pick up another truck, a tow truck trying to pick up a truck off to the right side about 102nd south. They are taking up that right lane, and that kind of throws things off if you're trying to get on at 106 south to go northbound. Just move over a couple of lanes and you'll be on your way. It looks like traffic's back to normal speeds once you get past that there. Just a reminder, in Ogden, 12th Street, about 500 West, going to close over the weekend, right over the train tracks there, to do some road work. That will be causing some delays, both east and westbound on 12th Street in Ogden. UDOT construction alert also. Plan ahead as southbound I-215 in West Valley City is down to 1 lane each night through Saturday, followed by a full closure of the freeway on Sunday night for bridge repair. Mark Christiansen in the KSL Traffic Center.
It looks like we have some sunshine trying to poke through those clouds, but those clouds will be here to stay for today. There's another chance of rain this afternoon, and then we have a weather alert, a high wind warning in Davis County with gusts between 30 to 40 miles per hour, some up to 60 miles per hour, so expect some of that. Right now, it's 45 degrees and cloudy. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
So ballots went out on Tuesday. I love talking to the clerks. Like, we had it all lined up Monday night, just ready to send.
Mine are stacked on the table right now.
Just ready to go.
Just waiting to go.
Which is always strange to me that we often talk about Election Day as 3 weeks away. Well, Election Day is every day for for the next 3 weeks.
It's been the biggest adjustment in my career. It has made a huge difference in how you view the calendar. Like we would just tune it in, the conversations just right until the moment, Dave, that you were walking in, because we knew within a matter of hours when you were taking the action that we so needed you to take. Now it is give or take a month. And that conversation, how do you make sure that Dave Noriega knows as much as we need him to know about our candidate on October 15th, and our producer Michelle knows as much as she needs to know on November 5th when she's deciding to vote.
Which is why I thought it was curious that we had a debate last night in the 3rd Congressional District.
Mhm.
This is the district that John Curtis is leaving to run for Senate. Now it's an open seat, and it's between Republican Mike Kennedy and Democrat Glenn Wright. So they're having a debate when people have already voted.
That's right.
I don't know if it's not a huge number of people that have voted, but there are still people that they get their ballot, they fill it out, and they mail it, and a debate still hasn't happened.
Yeah, no, it was interesting calendaring. We still have another debate going on. Now, one might argue that the people who vote the first day are not undecided. They have made up their minds and they don't need to listen to a debate. They know what they want and they just put it in. And one would think that those of us who are still grappling may have looked at a schedule and tuned in and said, okay, I'm going to wait until I hear this. But it is curious that these debates are going on.
But what if you had already voted? Let's just take the example of President Biden and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Debates typically don't move the needle that much, but that one did. That
Yes.
changed everything.
Boy, I am in this camp, Dave. Like, there is no reason. Let's be honest, I'm not a super undecided voter. I tend to come in with opinions. But I cannot vote in October. Like, I won't wait until the very last minute, although I do love a good day of, but my schedule doesn't usually allow for it. But I don't vote in October because I don't know. I keep thinking that I will learn something that will change my mind.
Do we need to adjust the calendaring at all? Because I look at this and I think there's something to be said when you're talking about a singular election day. You know, there can't be anybody falling on their face, you know, and if you narrow it down to the final day, I don't know. I think maybe this is a bigger deal. I think we should largely be able to say before voting, this is what we had to offer. Now there should be almost a moratorium on campaigning. Like, we gave you all we could. Now it's up to you to figure it out. I don't know if there's ever been an appetite for some sort of a moratorium.
That used to happen more and more back in the olden days when there was an election day. If you recall, our daily newspapers would not allow political speech. I think it was 2 days or 3 days before. But we did have these cycles in which we're like, okay, enough input. Now just take some time. It's not possible in today's world, but we also function really differently, Dave. We have to have choice right now. We expect that we do things around our calendar. We watch our favorite programs around our own schedule. And I think this notion of I'll vote when I feel like it is really a predominant feeling.
But we have, again, to this moratorium point, we have created some laws in place when you go to vote. As you're walking up, campaigns can't actively recruit you. They can't give you things. They can't be within a certain number of feet. There's a lot of rules there. And then not only the Biden-Trump debate, you know, that did change everything. I think about Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump when James Comey just, I think it was a week before the
right.
It was within just a matter of days before. He goes back and starts bringing up the email issue with Hillary Clinton that some people think influenced the election. But when you have voting that is going on and there is still the campaign that is playing out, then you run into some of these tricky parts of like, oh, I wish I hadn't have voted.
What I love about what you're saying is stay engaged until the end. And what I suspect, again, of early voters is I suspect they're also slightly more partisan. Right. Yeah. They're using their tribe, they're using sort of philosophy more than they're maybe looking at every individual candidate and every individual incident. And I would say I fall down on the side that says, oh, look at every single candidate. Don't worry about their labels. Go check out how close they are to your worldview.
I think the people that vote on day one, 21 days out, they're the same people that leave the football game in the third quarter.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And I'm glad that you missed that pick six at the end shame on you.
You missed the greatest catch in history, and I'm glad you missed it.
You and I agree.
You early voter. No, vote whenever you want to. I don't care.
But it is interesting. Back to this debate the other night. First, just before we leave this, we have to give a shout out to Leah Murray, who was the moderator. She did so well. She actually runs the Olene Walker Center at Weber State. But Dave, why we like her is she is a co-host often with me on KSL, our own nightly KSL at Night. So way to go, Leah Murray.
You both have moderated debates.
I did the Attorney General's debate at Southern Utah University, and then she just crushed last night's Congressional 3.
Those are moderators I can get behind. A couple good ones right there. Yeah, thanks. And anyway, Congressional District 3, it's done. I mean, at least the debate is. There's no other debate scheduled from there on or here on out. But I thought it was peculiar that it had been held once votes had already been cast. So, hey, when we come back, let's talk about the movie show. Walking up to the movie show with Steve Sales and Andy Farnsworth next.
Finally Friday with Dave and Dujanovic.
So, you want to be a hero. Here are some ways to get the job. Hunt down that killer shark. Or run into a burning house to save a kitten. Luckily, there's an easier way to become a hero. Call 911 if you see someone experiencing the symptoms of stroke, sudden weakness on one side, or trouble speaking, walking, or seeing. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. You'll be a real hero. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales. We're broadcasting live from Minky Couture in Layton. So if the movie show's at Minky, it must mean we're getting near a holiday, because we love to point out to everybody what a great gift a Minky Couture blanket or pillowcase or now a sleeping bag. And Sandy, I didn't get the memo, and I did not wear my pajamas to work today because I'm seeing comfortable-looking pajamas on many of your employees here.
I know. We carry a Rouge line of pajamas that are related to Minky, but they had their own label.
Are they as soft as a Minky?
Oh, they are so soft and so cozy, and they're so cute. And they're coming out with their family holiday collection in about right before White Glove, probably about 10 days. But so the baby can match the mom, and you know how dads don't ever want to wear their pajamas, but they will do it for a picture.
They'll do it for a Christmas card.
So they tried to do ones that they'll actually really wear. They just have solid green or red or cream tops with the pattern pant, and so cute, and they're so comfortable, and they've been a great hit.
You've got robes.
And we've got robes. Yep, we're having our new robes that are supposed to arrive this week. And they might be here, but they're not in the stores yet. And so we just have so many fun things. And I've been saving lots of fun things for the holidays because it's fun to come in and get 2 or 3 gifts. And you can just check people off their list.
Well, and Minky treats you so well. You walk out of here with, first of all, the most comfortable blanket that you'll ever wrap around yourself, which I can say without hesitation. But you'll take it home in a gorgeous-looking gift bag. Yeah. You know, you just treat everybody so good from the moment they walk in forever, because as long as they have the blanket wrapped around them, you're still treating them good.
Well, customers, aren't they? They're your prize. You need great customers. And I just really strive to, listen to my customers and, report or fix anything that's not working well, or there's a problem with the blanket, or a problem with, delivery or anything. I just think customers have to have confidence in what they're purchasing. Your dollar's important to you. You work hard to get that dollar, so you need a good product.
And you're going to save them a couple of dollars right now, especially on the Halloween. We're 2 weeks from Halloween. It's not too late to get some Halloween-themed Minky products. And right now, website and in person.
65% off.
Okay, website, what's the code they have to put in?
I think it's movie.
Oh, it's just already there?
Oh, it's already discounted.
Okay,
on the
okay.
page.
So the Halloween stuff. Yes, we'll have a special movie show
right?
discount that
Yeah,
we'll
yes.
give here
The
in
movie
just a
show,
little bit.
yes.
But Halloween right now, 65% off in-store or online at minkycouture.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic with an STP Extended Life oil filter for just $35.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Britt Johnson. First, a man accused of shooting and killing another driver in West Valley City earlier this month is now facing murder charges. Second, a Davis County title agent who admitted to cheating clients out of more than $6.5 million is headed to prison. Third, Vice President Harris and former President Trump will both be campaigning in Michigan today, where the stakes are high because of their differing stances related to the automotive industry. Right now, it's 45 degrees and cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
The following preview has been rated G and is appropriate for all audiences.
It is time to get ready for the movie show with Andy and Steve. And Mara, let me just give you a big thank you for joining me today. Mara Carabello has been filling in for Debbie Dujanovic today, which is fantastic. I was doing the show a little bit solo for a couple of days.
You did have a solo. I'm wondering, it's too much to ask, but I know Noriega Carabello is sort of a lot of vowels, but we could just do one.
It rolls off. Just Carabello.
No, I said Noriega and Carabello.
Well, this has been a fun show. A lot of really interesting stories. But Andy and Steve, thank you for joining us. We're excited to talk about movie time. I'm trying to wrap my head around the calendar of when the good movies start coming out.
That's a good question.
It doesn't feel like it's right now.
So here's what they do, it seems like, Steve, and I'm a little more new to this.
Yeah.
We are now in the dearth. You'll get some horror movies, which will be the lead-offs in October, with the Halloween thought. Sure. Then we start to get some prestige movies at the first part of November.
Yep.
Then we get close to Thanksgiving, so it's time to blast with another big tent pole, like a big family-type movie, which they're doing.
That's what they do.
3 big movies coming in November. Then it goes back to the artsy, like, hey, consider end of the year. Only a few theaters are going to show this one. You've got to find it and go to it. And then you get close to Christmas, and then we get Nosferatu.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing says Christmas like Nosferatu.
That's really happening this year, by the way.
August used to be the clearance sale. Everything goes, just throw it out there, get rid of it. It probably won't make any money. But that's all changed because they have so much product right now that they kind of have to, make room for each other.
Yeah, so there wasn't a huge mass audience appeal movie this week.
But there's a couple of little nugget movies that are really good.
And we know which ones are going to win the box office, and it is not those little nugget movies.
No, it is not.
So our big movie this week we're going to talk about is Smile, not 1, Smile 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, I watched the preview. It's a creepy smile. And listen, we have gotten to the point where you can make anything creepy. We've already established clowns, super creepy. Thank you, Poltergeist. That ruined everything. And now we've gotten to the point where a smile is creepy.
Dave, you know what won the box office last weekend?
What's that?
Terrifier 3 with the most murderous clown that has ever existed.
Art the Clown. Yeah.
So, yeah, this is the season we're in. The one that won the box office was the only one we didn't see.
What
and
won the
refused
box
to go
office?
to.
Oh, was it Smile?
Yeah, so Terrifier 3
Terrifier
won
3?
the box office last week.
But
It was the
not
number
by
one
much,
movie.
not by much.
It went $27 million.
It did? I thought it made like 14.
No, 27.
Oh, brother.
We will watch
People are
terrible
anyway.
horror all day
We've
long.
lost America.
Yeah, so Smile 2. Steve, I was going to go to this.
Oh, please. Yeah.
But it was my
The
kids
dog
had
ate
a
your
concert
homework,
that night, and I couldn't not be a good father. And I said, oh, man, I really wanted to go to Smile 2. I guess I better go to this high school choir concert instead.
So my mistake was that I hadn't seen Smile 1, so I watched it the night before like an idiot. And then Smile 2 was 5 times scarier than Smile 1. So, yeah.
And it's Naomi Scott is the lead off in Smile 2, and
She's
I like her.
She's great.
She was Jasmine in the live-action Aladdin, if you remember that from a couple of years ago. Yeah. But she plays a pop singer.
Yeah, she's kind of like a Taylor Swift, kind of very, very popular. Is having back issues, goes to a friend of hers who's a drug, like on the side guy. And he, from the previous movie.
Oh, he's a character from the previous movie.
Kind of, yeah. He sort of is there and becomes the next victim of this entity that likes to get inside people until it doesn't like it anymore, and then they kill themselves. But it has to be in front of somebody else so that the entity can then go into the next person.
Yeah, it's just as disturbing as it sounds. You're going to have to take our word for
it's
that.
It's a Christmas delight.
Well,
Like, it is Christmas. I was in the theater next door, and I'm hearing, "Oh, come all ye faithful," while people are screaming and being murdered.
That's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, it is Christmas.
And I was like, "Oh, I am so not seeing this."
Okay,
so anyway, that's Smile 2, our
2.
big movie of the week.
Okay, you promised me a couple of nuggets out there. I'm not going to go see Smile 2. I'm a big chicken. I can't handle horror.
Well, yeah, so stay away from that. But we do have a couple of nuggets in theaters that we'll talk about in the movie show. One of them is called We Live in Time with Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. And another one is Michael Keaton, and is it Mila or Mila Kunis? I always thought it was Mila.
It's Mila.
Mila Kunis. A movie called Goodrich that is almost like Michael Keaton's entire movie career arc rolled into one movie where there's some comedy points, there's
Mr.
some
Mom
drama.
in there.
Exactly. But it was good.
It's really good. So those are the nuggets that you're not even going to hear about unless you listen to the show.
So
But-
go ahead,
I'm
Mara.
going to just take one moment because I only have one contribution, and I want you guys to end on a roll. My only contribution to this entire conversation is for our listeners who also wanted to Google what the heck Nosferatu was. I did that for you, and I got it's a Symphony of Horror, a 1922 movie, also remade in 1979. So I'm going to let you guys roll after that, but I did Google your fancy words.
No, that's
from the
okay.
beginning.
It is. It was one of the original horror movies ever made. 1922. It's 100 years old.
It's a vampire.
But it's a
Yeah.
vampire movie. So a vampire movie is coming out on Christmas for some reason.
Nothing says.
I like it. I like the idea of Dracula and Santa Claus hybrid. You guys don't realize that there's a real market and a niche for that. And you're
Oh, no, they're showing us in October that
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a niche for that.
Please
By the
don't
way, guys,
suggest
I
that.
have a suggestion for your show name.
Okay.
Just DM me.
Holy cow, that
Or
actually
slide
works.
into my DM, something like that.
Nice.
You know what? There we
Dave,
go.
Mara? Eh?
Nice.
If Debbie ever comes back, then we'll have to have
What
that
did you do to-
conversation. But
Well, no, that's if it's Dave and Mara
Yeah,
is what I'm
yeah,
saying.
No,
just
that's
the
great.
occasional special.
I'm just saying, breaking it to my co-host that she's been replaced.
Like, yeah, I don't
That's-
like the name. Thanks.
Oh.
She's like, no, we'll stick with D2. All right, boys. Thank you so much. Look forward. We missed the big question, but that's why we'll tune into you guys. We always love the big question of the week. So best of luck, Steve, Andy. Thank you for taking one for the team. Every once in a while, you have to go see some movies that are not right up your alley, and you're doing a public service. That's what I'll call it. But Mara, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll turn things over to the movie show, guys.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Britt Johnson. KSL's top story this hour, Utah has added over 32,000 jobs in the last year, according to September's employment report. Jared Mendenhall with the Department of Workforce Services says our unemployment rate is below the national average of 4.1%. We're at 3.5%.
This 3.5% number, although higher than those record lows that we were seeing 2 years ago, this is a number that we would have typically seen in 2016, 2017.
Mendenhall says the economy is starting to settle back into the state that it was pre-pandemic, and we can expect to see other numbers reflect that. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Reports of the death of the U.S. Postal Service may have been premature. ABC's Jim Ryan says a new survey finds Gen Z feeling nostalgic about snail mail.
There's no denying that email has largely edged out the paper kind. But among consumers in their teens and 20s, says Nick Spitzman of Stamps.com.
It's almost a resurgence of physical things that once upon a time used to be very normal in our lives, and we would expect Gen Z not to have that, but they still do.
A survey by Stamps.com finds that nearly half of younger Americans mail at least one letter or card per month. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 38 points and the S&P is in the green 25 points and the NASDAQ is also up 134 points. Coming up, there's a wind advisory. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
Here's a way to get breaking news updates anywhere you go.
At the store or in a work meeting, you can get breaking news on your phone.
You can quickly read it, swipe, or click for more. It's super discreet, super fast.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
Well, it's starting to turn cold out there, and so now my brand new windows that I had replaced in my house from our friends at Advanced Window Products, Steve, now they're doing the opposite of what they've been doing. They've been trying to keep the cold air in and the warm air out during the summer, and all of a sudden, overnight, now they're keeping the warm air in and the cold air on the outside, because up until this point, the builder-grade windows that we built our house with 20 years ago have just been an energy sieve, sending the wrong stuff out and keeping the wrong stuff in.
Yes, that's right.
And affecting our power bills. But now that we got our windows replaced from Advanced Windows, we're starting to see that difference in our power bill. Now I'm going to notice it in the heating bill, because now we're going to start running the heater. But it was so easy. It was so quick. They came, and within an hour I had a bid. Within an hour I had financing set up. And within 8 weeks they had everything come in and did a 2-day job in 1 day. We have been taken such good care of from start to finish by Advanced Window Products. But there's a secret to their success.
Oh, the fact is that they build their own windows in-house. They'll come out and they'll measure, they'll build the windows, and they'll install them. You don't have to worry about a middleman or some contractor coming out and doing the work. They do it all themselves.
Highest quality custom windows in the state. Do the same thing I did. Do your research, find out, but make sure some of that research includes going to advancedwindows.com or making sure you call them at 801-850-9100.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Utah, the absolute best pricing of the year is happening right now at Paris RV. We're blowing out all remaining 2024 inventory. Save on the Heartland Prowler Lynx 17 BHX bunkhouse, only $14,995 or $171 per month. Or the Forest River Rockwood Freedom Series 1640 LTD, only $9,995 or $113 per month. Got toys? Hook up to the Forest River Vengeance Rogue SUT 23 SUT, only $33,995 or $345 a month.
The show may be over, but the deals are still on at Paris RV.
Paris RV is your locally owned, family-run RV dealership. We strive hard to find the very best RVs for the price, with 4 locations, over 1,000 RVs in stock, 42 service bays, and 4 super parts stores. We're sure to help take your family on the best RV vacation. Check out our perfect family bunkhouse trailer, the 26BH, that sleeps 9 for $19,995 or $227 a month. Zero down. Life is short. Enjoy it. North Murray, South Murray, Payson, and Pocatello. ParisRV.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Mark Christiansen.
Well, your northbound I-15 travel is very slow if you're coming up to the 106 South on-ramp. It looks like there's still that problem at 102nd South off to the right. A semi-truck, they're trying to hook it up to a tow truck, I think, but they've taken up the right lane, and that's causing that backup now to about 108, 109th South. If you get over to the left, you'll get by that just fine. Also, a couple of new accidents in the downtown area on I-15. 600 South, looks like a car hit a wall. And around 400 South, we're getting reports HP headed to a semi and a truck accident in that particular neighborhood there. Get to know winter fun at the Utah Snowmobile Show at Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. Tickets at snowwest.com/Utah. The Utah Snowmobile Show, October 18th and 19th at Mountain America Expo Center. Mark Christiansen in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cool today, only getting to about 52 degrees for our high, but we'll start to slowly warm back up and reach 70 by Monday with lots of clear skies in the 7-day forecast. But before then, we do have a weather alert, high wind warning, especially in Davis County this afternoon. Expect gusts of 30 miles per hour up to 60 miles per hour. Right now, it's 45 degrees and cloudy. I'm Britt Johnson from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studio. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Lights, camera, action. It's the KSL Movie Show.
That is a stupid design, and your instructions were very unclear.
The week's big movie review, movie news, games, and prizes. Here's Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales.
These curious creatures crawl, creep, and climb their way through life.
On KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
We're 2 weeks away from Halloween, and so this is the appropriate time. Look, I'm not a big horror movie fan, but I do agree that this is the appropriate time of year to release your horror movies. People are in the mood for it. They go to haunted houses, and this is like a sort of safer version of a haunted house, because even though they say they can't touch you,